This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so once you are in this screen, this is called as SAP Logon Pad. Okay, because this will ask you for your user ID and password. If you remember yesterday, I told you there will be a lot of users who are connecting to SAP and they are part of different departments, right? So some users will be from sales department, some users will be from purchasing, manufacturing, finance, AP, AR, right? So definitely the activities that they are going to perform in the system are different. Okay, and we don't want to give the access of performing the sales transaction to the purchasing team because purchasing team is not responsible for any kind of sales related information, right? Reports,
Yeah.
yes. They if they want to see the reports, yes, but they should not be able to change something uh, in the SAP which is related to the sales department. Similarly, the payroll information is very sensitive data. Bank related information is very sensitive. So those things should not be given to anyone who is not the part of the normal uh, uh, department. Like for example, payroll will be only given to payroll department, and banking related functions will be only provided to the banking department. Correct.
Yeah.
So in this server, luckily you don't have any restrictions. Okay, so because this is a test server, you can do sales, you can do purchase, you can do payroll, whatever you want. But most of the time you will be working on the procurement because you want to learn procurement, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So your user ID and password will be provided to you. Okay, so which will look like this. Most probably this will be your user ID and password. I'm just using today. Maybe I'll be using during the course your user itself. Okay, and this will be your user ID and the password again is written on the mail that I'm going to provide you. Okay, and if you remember yesterday we discussed about a client and we discussed about the login language, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
discussed that client is something which has its own database. Each client, uh, if you want a user ID, this user ID is also based on client. So it is possible that if I change this to 100, 200, or 300, then this user ID may not exist at all, right? So users are also created per client. Okay, and this is the topmost level in SAP system. Everything, whatever you create in SAP, it creates below the client level, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and then you will enter your password here and login language. Again, SAP provides many 30, 40 different. If you want the list, I'll show you the list, which are those languages. So SAP is developed in almost 30 to 40 languages, and you can decide which language you want to connect to. By default, system is showing English because at the time of basis installment, when they installation, sorry, at the time of basis installation, they might have mentioned that the default language is going to be English. Okay. So
Okay.
now if I press enter, then you will get this SAP Easy Access screen. This is called as SAP Easy Access screen. Okay, or you can call it as a SAP home page. Okay. Now this SAP Easy Access, you can see on the left hand side, if you just forget about these favorites, we'll talk about these favorites later on. You will normally find this SAP menu. Okay. In SAP menu, you can see there are a lot of different areas. Like for example, you have logistics, you have accounting, you have HR. So from talking from the functional perspective, the departmental perspective, whatever department you call it as. Okay, so you talk about sales, you talk about purchase, you talk about manufacturing, you talk about plant maintenance. These are all example of logistics, right? So if I go to logistics, I'll be able to see I'll be able to see SD, I'll be able to see lot of further departments here. The warehouse management, production, plant maintenance, customer service, quality management. These are all the different departments within the logistics area, right? Similarly, if I go to finance or accounting, I'll be able to say financial accounting, financial supply chain management, controlling, project systems, joint venture accounting. So these are all the areas which are coming under accounting. And then the third area is HR. In the HR, you will find payroll, you will find time management, personal management, training and development, organization management. So in short, all the functional modules in SAP are basically divided into three parts: logistics, finance, and HR. These are the three areas. Okay, then within logistics, you have a lot of different sub-modules, or we can say modules, and then within accounting also, you will have a lot of different functionalities. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but this, if you understand this normally, let's try to understand this. Whenever we are working on SAP, so let me increase the font here. Yes. So whenever we are working in SAP, there are two kind of users. Okay. Number one is the consultants. So currently what we are understanding is what is the consultant's responsibility in SAP system, right? And second one is end users. Okay. So this consultants includes functional, technical, development, everything, right? So these are the consultant means these are not the actual owner of the processes. They are just to help or support the end users in carrying out the day-to-day activities,
Okay.
right? But who is responsible for carrying out the actual activities like creation of purchase order, or generating the invoice, making the payment? These are all end users,
Yeah.
right? So again, SAP screens are also divided into two parts based on the user who is going to access these transactions. So that is the reason this particular thing that you are able to see here, which is SAP Easy Access, this is for the end user. Okay, so whatever things you can see here within logistics, within uh, accounting, within HR, these are the things which are required by the end user. Okay, but as a consultant, if you are a consultant, you will not be able to change, or you will be like, you will not be performing any of these activities in the production system. Testing purpose, yes, because when we are consultants, before we ask end user to perform a transaction, we can test whether it is working correctly or not, right? But when it is a production system, we are not supposed to perform any single transaction. We cannot create any invoice, we cannot create any purchase order, because that is wrong from the audit perspective. Because only the end user who is authorized to execute the transactions, only he can access this SAP Easy Access.
Okay.
Okay. So the question is then, what about the consultant? Okay, if a consultant wants to do something in SAP system, because you cannot directly give the SAP system to the end user. Before end user is able to perform any transaction, it is a consultant's responsibility to set up the system. I'll give the example. Let's say you are my customer. Okay, you are my, let's say I am SAP and you are my customer. Okay, and you purchased SAP system from me today. Now, if you want to do any transactions, you have to first tell the system which company code, which what is your legal entity, how many plants do you have, right? How many like what are the different type of transactions you want to do. Only if I set up those things in the system, you will be able to use as an end user. And that is the reason what happens is, if I am SAP and you are the end customer, normally there is a third party consulting company who will come into the picture and they will say, we are here to set up your organization structure, or we are here to implement the SAP system for the end user. So all these companies like Accenture, Capgemini, what they are doing, they are not selling SAP to the customer. SAP is the only company who is selling the licenses. Okay, but who are these consulting companies? They are the ones who are actually helping customers to use this on day-to-day basis. Okay, they are setting up the organization structure, they are setting up everything which is required by the end user to perform their day-to-day transactions.
Okay.
Yeah. So where exactly in the system we can go and we can set up that organization structure. So for that, you have to go for this transaction called as SPRO. Okay, SPRO is a transaction which will take you to the IMG. This is called as SAP reference IMG screen, and this is where whatever things you are able to see now, these are the things which are only available to the consultant. Okay, as an end user, you are not supposed to touch this. So as a consultant, you are not supposed to touch SAP Easy Access. As an end user, you are not supposed to touch SPRO.
Okay.
Okay, so now what we will do is we will take a real-time scenario. Okay, so let's say I'll view the real-time picture. Let's consider we are a consulting company. Let's say you are a consultant and you want to work on the consulting company. You are working for a consulting company and you need to set up the organization structure for a company who is into telecommunication industry. So our customer, or let's say a manufacturing industry, customer is a big manufacturing giant. Okay, and they have their legal entities in US, in uh, Europe, and let's say in, okay, in US. When I say in Europe, I need to specify the country. So let's say they have the uh, legal entity in Germany, and then they have the legal entity in, say, Turkey. Okay, so I don't know the exact code for the Turkey, but we will check. Okay, so legal entities, they want three legal entities, and they have plants. In US, they have two plants. In Germany, they have only one plant. And in Turkey, again, let's say they have two plants. Sorry. Okay, so they have the legal entities in US, Germany, and Turkey. In terms of plants, they have two plants in US, one plant in Germany, and two plants in Turkey again. Okay, and then coming to the purchasing department. Yeah, so Abdul, one question to make it more interactive.
Yes.
What do you think the purchasing department should be created at what level? For each plant, there should be the separate purchasing department, or for each country, there should be the separate purchasing department, or there should be only one purchasing department which is taking care of each and everything, all countries, all plants,
I think for each country, separate.
for each country.
Yeah, for each country.
Okay. So the reason why I asked, there is nothing correct, nothing wrong. SAP provides all three options. Okay, so you can create purchasing department at client level. What is client level? Client level means which is valid for all company codes. So one single purchasing department who will take care of all the company codes. This is called as central procurement. Okay, so you have only one purchasing department which is taking care of each and every unit within your organization. Correct?
Yeah.
Then you have second one, which is second example is purchasing department at company code level. So for each company code, you have a separate purchasing department. Okay, and third option is you can have purchasing department at plant level. Okay, The purchasing department at plant level, in that case, what will happen? There will be two purchasing departments for US, one purchasing department for Germany, and again two purchasing departments for Turkey.
Okay.
Correct? So these are the three options. What I wanted to clarify here, that these are the three different options that you have in terms of setting up the purchasing department. Clear on this?
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So now let's take this scenario and go ahead and try to set up the organization structure in SAP. So first of all, we need to set up these three legal entities. And legal entities in SAP are called as company codes. So in SAP, you don't have any option to create a legal entity. You call it as company codes. Okay. Normally, these company codes are created by FI because they are the legal entities. Legal entity means it has something to do with accounting, since it is legal, right? So normally, that is the main reason why any project, whichever you are working as a SAP MM consultant, you cannot start your configuration till the time FI consultant has not initiated. Okay, I'm not saying FI consultant has completed, initiated. So the first thing that has to be done is setting up the company code, which is a responsibility of FI consultant. And once that is done, then only you can carry out your next processes. Clear, Abdul?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. So now let me show you how to set up the company codes in SAP, how to create plants, and how to create purchasing departments. Okay, so I will go with enterprise structure. So this is again, let me come again to this place. So I am using SPRO here. Okay, this is called as a command menu. If you remember yesterday in the slides, I've shown you there is a command menu in which you can write your transaction code.
Yeah.
Right. So here you will just write SPRO, press enter. After pressing enter, you have to click on this SAP reference IMG.
Yeah.
IMG stands for implementation guide. So this is a kind of activity that you do in the new implementation projects, or even during the support also, you continuously as a consultant, you work on IMG activity.
Okay.
Okay. So once you are in IMG, what you need to do next is you need to go to enterprise structure, because company code, plants, purchasing departments, these are all part of the enterprise structure.
Okay.
Okay. If you open enterprise structure, there are two important sections here: definition and assignment. Okay. In the definition, you will be specifying, you will be creating company code, you will be creating plant, you will be creating purchasing org. In the assignment, you will tell the system that which plant can use which purchase org, which company code can, sorry, which plant is belonging to a particular company code. All those assignments, you make it here. Okay. So we will go for the definition first, because we need to create this company codes and plants. Okay, and as I told you, the first thing that you need to do is creation of company codes. And since this company code is nothing but financial data, so we have to again first go for this financial accounting section. Okay, so we'll go to financial accounting, and you can see whatever topics I'm not talking about. Let's say I'm not talking about company, credit control area, business area, functional area. So you don't need to worry about all those, because these are the topics which are covered normally in financials. Okay, so you are not responsible for all these things. Only thing is, we cannot go ahead if we don't create a company code, and that is the reason I'm just creating a company code.
Yeah.
Okay, so just go to this edit, copy, delete, check company code, click on this execute. In this one, double click on the next one, second one, edit company code data.
Okay.
Okay. Now here you have to click on new entries, because you can see there are already some company codes available in the system.
Yeah.
Okay. Some are created by the guys who are practicing on this server, and there are some which are already provided by SAP as a sample company code. SAP has already provided the sample company codes. Let's say if you are stuck somewhere, you don't know what to do, what settings I should use, you can refer to the sample company code and you can use that. Okay. Not only that, even you can copy the company code. Whatever copy functions are available, for example, instead of, see, if I click on new entry, I need to specify each and everything. Okay, but instead of creating a new, instead of, just 1 minute. So I'll go to SPRO, IMG, enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, edit, copy, delete, edit company code data. Yeah. So if I click on new entries, each and everything I have to write. But what I can do is instead of clicking from scratch, I can say I want to use this and I want to copy this. If you click on copy as, you can see everything has been copied. You just need to specify what is changed.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So instead of copying, I will use the just give me a minute. This is actually a new screen, so actually one confusion for us also. Cancel. Yes. Okay. So now instead of copying, I will go with the fresh one. I'll click on new entries because I need to create 3 company codes. Maybe first one I will create from scratch and next 2 I will copy. If I click on new entry, I have to specify the company code, which should be unique. I cannot use the code which is already available in the system, right? And what is the total length of this code? I can use only 4 characters for company code.
Yeah.
Those 4 characters can be alphanumeric. Okay, so you can have numeric, you can have alpha, you can have alphanumeric. So it is up to you. You can use all 4 characters like A. You can use 1, 2, 3, 4, which is all numeric, or you can use A 1, 2, 3 or something whatever.
Okay.
Okay. So for us, what I'll do is this is, let's say, PR01. PR stands for procurement since we are learning procurement. So PR01, PR02, and PR03. These are the 3 company codes that we will create. So the company name that I'm giving is S4 Procurement Training 1. Okay, so this is first company.
Yeah.
Okay, I will write these are the mandatory information that you need to enter. You need to specify the city, you need to specify the country, currency, and language. Okay, so these are the 4 important information that you need to enter here. So let's say city because this first one is I'm creating for US, right? So let's go with the city of New York. Country would be US, so you can select it from the list. See, again, there are some places where you have this button. This button means you cannot just write anything here. You have to select only the values which are available in the list. Okay, so all the countries in the world are available in this list. They are provided by SAP. So if you click on this, it will show you all different countries. Okay, and you need to select the one which one you want to use. So I want to use US. So US, this is the one which I will use. Now, if my company is working in US, definitely the currency would be USD, right?
Yeah.
And language would be EN, which is English. Okay, again, you can see for currencies also you have list of value. Okay, you can only select the values from the list. If you are entering something which is not the part of list, then it is wrong. Even language, I told you how many languages are there. There are 44 languages in SAP. Okay, so you can see, do you have a particular language in Turkey?
Yeah, it's
Turkish. You have Turkish, and I can now see Hindi also. I think this is something new in S4HANA. I have to try this. I've never tried it. Okay, so there are 44 languages which are supported in SAP.
Okay.
Okay, so you have to select it from the list of value, and once you are done with this information, if you click on save, it will ask you additional information like address, email ID, phone number. Okay, so that for that particular company code, you are providing the all related information. So if I click on save, it will open the address button, and I have to specify the name, the full name, the address, the country, the PO box, everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so not all information is mandatory. Okay, you can see the information which is mandatory is having the star. Okay, so these are the only mandatory fields. But when you're working in the real-time project, definitely you need to enter everything, because from the technical point of view, SAP is not asking you any everything. But when you want to print the invoices, the address information comes from here. So if it is partial address mentioned here, it will like not look good in the invoices.
Yes.
Or in the POs, right? Purchase orders also. So titles are again provided by SAP. So normally for company we use company, but if it is individual, then Mr., Mrs., Mr. and Mrs. You can use whatever you want, right? So I'll go with company. I have to provide the name of the company. So we already provided this name, which is S for procurement training one. Okay, and search term, this is just for if you want to search, if you have thousands of company codes and you want to give some easy number or easy thing that is like I want to find out easily the particular company code, then I can give the search term. Okay, so for example, if I give the search term as S4, so it will show me all the company codes where the search term is S4. Okay, so this is just for easy identification, nothing else.
Yeah.
So this is the additional address information. If I want to enter whatever I want to enter, so I'll say one building. Okay, city is New York and postal city code I'm not sure. So let's use something. I think it will throw error because even system has that control that if you are using country US, there is no such postal code available there. Okay, so let's try. So city is going to be New York and country is US. If I press enter, you can see it is saying the postal code must have a length of 5 or 10. 6 digits are not allowed. So normally in US, they only have 5 digits or 10 digits code. Okay, so maybe what I can do is I can just remove one character, so it becomes 5 characters now. Okay, so this kind of checks can also be performed in the system by default.
Okay.
Okay, now you can see data has been saved. So we already created one company code PR01.
Okay.
Okay, now if I come back, okay, and I need to create two more, one for Germany and second for Turkey. So for that, instead of doing everything from scratch once again, I can just click on this and click on copy as. So this is going to be 2, right? And this is going to be also 2. This information I have to change. So this time this is going to be, let's say, Waldorf. Okay, and country is going to be DE. DE is Germany. Okay, so it is not GE or something, it is DE.
Okay.
Currency which is used in Europe is Euro. Okay, so all the European countries normally use Euro, most of the countries. Euro, I think it is UR. Okay, and language, you can again change it to DE because normally they use this language there, right?
Yeah.
If you click on apply, it will again ask you address information. So it is again copying the address information from the company code 1 which we created. So it changes to 2. Let it be this one also. This is fine. I need to change this to Waldorf. Okay, and country I have to change this to DE. Okay, also you can see this time zone. This will be picked automatically. based on the country, or you can select your own if you want. So if I press enter now, yeah, so it is not picking automatically. It is saying CST is not valid in country DE. So I can, this was just a warning message. Okay, so it is not stopping you, but it is just telling you that maybe you need to change it. So if you want to change, again, I will go back, and in the address information, I can go and change the time zone according to my requirements. Okay, if you want to keep same, it is up to you. Okay, so which one is normally used? Central European time. So I'll go with the CET, and this time it will not throw any warning. It is allowing me to save.
Yeah, I think the different hour is something new in S4HANA. In the ECC, it doesn't provide you the hour difference.
Sorry, your voice is not clear.
Yeah, I said that the hour difference in the time zone in the ECC it's not provided, but I see that in S4HANA it's already providing this feature.
You mean to say time zone?
Yeah, in the time zone, the hour difference said that it's -1, -10. It's a new feature, I said.
No. It was available in ECC also.
Okay, I didn't see it.
Yes. So yeah, it was available, but it was optional. So that's the reason you may not have seen that.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so save this, and then the next one is the third company code. Again, we can copy or we can start from scratch. So I'll go with copy again. So which saves our time, right? Go with 3. This time this will be Istanbul. Okay, and country would be, let me check what is the code for Turkey in SAP system. So for Turkey, it's going to be TY or something.
Yeah, yeah.
TR. TR is Turkey. Okay, and currency. Let's see what is the currency for Turkey. Turkey, TRL, right?
Yeah, Turkish lira.
Is there any change? So earlier it was called TRL and now it is called TRY. Is it correct?
Yeah, it's the same. The value.
Yes, I'll go with the existing one, TRY. Correct?
Yeah.
If you click on apply, yeah, sorry. So 3, I will just change this to Istanbul, and this would be TR. If you know, you can write. If you don't know, you can select it from the list.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I don't provide anything, if I just press enter, then it will copy automatically. So let's see what it is to. So if you go for address, you can see it is ticked automatically EET. Are you following this EET time there?
Yeah, actually, it's European.
Let's see what is EET. Okay, it is also picking Eastern Europe. Is it? Yeah, I think the time is same as Europe, right? For you?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay, and then you just need to click on OK and click on Save. Okay, so now we have 3 legal entities available. The next task for us is to create 5 different plants, right?
Yeah.
So plant definition will come in logistics. Okay, now just understand one thing. Plant is something which is not only used for it is not only used for procurement. Plant is used for manufacturing, plant is used for sales, warehouse management. Every logistics module uses plant. And that is the reason it is plant definition is not directly available in materials management. It is available in the logistics general, which means general structure which is required for every logistics activity. Okay, so you'll go to this logistics general. This valuation level, although you don't need to worry about this, but let me explain this. What is valuation level? So if you go to this define valuation level, this should be valuation area is plant. Okay, by default this is active. You should not change this. Okay, and just for your information that the valuation will take place in the plant.
Okay. It's pretty
Okay.
defined.
Yes. Then is you need to define, copy, delete, and check plant, which means this is a place where you'll be able to create a plant. So if you double click on define plant, again, now see each and every SAP screen, whenever you go for define, it will look exactly same. So this is just like a company code, right? You have an option to go for new entry, you have the option for a copying, so everything will be same. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create a new plant. So I'll go for new entry. So in the plant definition, I need to enter, let's say PR11. So this is the plant for my PR01 company code. So let's say this is PR01 plant 1 for US, right?
Yeah.
Because we need to create two plants. So just to identify, this is plant 1 for US. Okay. Name 2 is optional. So sometimes the name is big name, which is not fitting into this the number of characters which are available in name 1. So in that case only you can use name 2. Name 2 is optional. You can keep it blank. Now this Conti code and all, normally we don't follow in, I think Turkey and in India, we don't follow this, but you must be aware in England or somewhere they have the counties. Okay, so you don't need to enter this, even city code is optional, but what is most important is factory calendar. What is factory calendar? This tells the system about the holidays. So which days are holidays? Normally weekends are holidays, right? And if you have some festivals or something, like if you have some national days, something, so that should be considered as holidays. So normally we select the factory calendar same as the country. So for if you are creating the US as a plant, we need to assign the factory calendar of US. So again, there are a lot of calendar options available, 92, but you will be able to find one thing for each country. So you can just go for US. Right? Again, if you click on save, it will again ask you address. You can also directly go to address from here. It will again ask you the same thing, same similar kind of thing that we seen in the company code. So you will again go for company and you will specify the same thing, which is this is plant 1 for US. Okay. Here you can just write S4 again to just identify. So for example, after this session, if you want to know what are the plants we created today, you just go for S4. In the search term, it will tell you all the plants that we created.
Yeah.
Again, the street number and house number if you want. So this is 1, any building, whatever name you want to give. Postal code, I'm writing 5 characters. City was New York. And country was US. Okay, click on OK and click on save. So data already saved, right? So PR11 is already created. Now, what we can do is instead of creating a new from scratch again, we will copy this PR11 to copy as, and we will name this as PR12. So 1 is for PR1 company and 2 is second plant for US. This is plant 2 for US.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything is copied. We don't need to change anything. Just click on apply. It will ask you for address. In the address, you can say, no, this is not for New York. This is for Chicago, for example. Okay, so In US, I have 2 plants, one in New York, second in Chicago. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so similarly, we will go about creating other 3 plants. So again, if I double click on this, new entries, plant is PR2 and 1. Okay, so this is for plant 1 for Germany, right? Okay, and factory calendar would be Germany standard. There are a lot of different factory calendars in Germany, but we will go with the standard one. Okay, and click on save. It will ask you for address. So you will say this is a company, which is again plant 1 for Germany. Search term S4. Country, I'm not writing all this information again and again because this is optional. So I'll just go with country TE and click on save. Okay, maybe we can write the city here that, okay, this is for, okay, let's write that also. So let's say the city is Waldorf. We only have 1 plant in Germany, that is in Waldorf. Okay, next one, we need to create 2 more. So new entry, PR31. This is plant 1 for Turkey. Okay, and I will go for the factory calendar, which is going to be TR for Turkey. Okay, click on save. Company, this is plant 1 for Turkey, and country is PR, and let's say this is Istanbul. Okay, so 1 plant in Istanbul. Where you want the second plant? Okay, you can see everything has been copied, even the city and all. We are not able to change it. Okay, so in that case, maybe you need to go back and say, no, I don't want to copy, let me create it. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll go for new entry, PR32. This is for plant 2 for Turkey. Okay, another important thing, if you don't want to write everything, just press space bar. It will show you the last things what you wrote. Okay. Factory calendar would be TR. Click on save. Can you spell the other city that you said yesterday, Abdul?
Ankara.
Spelling?
Yeah. ANKARA.
RA.
Yeah.
Ankara. Okay. Okay, so now we have 5 different plants. 2 for US, 1 for Germany, and 2 for Turkey. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's come out of plant definition now. Now we will go for materials management, and we need to create purchasing department. Right? So we discussed that we will first create the legal entities that are company codes. Second is we create the plants, and third is we will create the purchasing departments. Okay, so we will create. Now it is up to you. Can you tell me what scenario you want to use? You want to use a purchasing organization for separate purchase organization for a plant, which means separate purchasing department in SAP is called as purchasing organization. Okay, so it is up to the customer whether they want to create one single purchase organization which will be shared by all company codes, or they want to create a separate purchase organization for company code, or they want to have a separate purchasing of per plant.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one you want me to go ahead?
I say let's say at a higher level. Let's say one purchasing organization responsible for
Company code.
yeah.
Okay, So let's create a new entry and we will give the same code as company code because we are creating three. So we will go with PR01, which is our company code. So this is purchase org for US. Second is PR02, which is purchase org for Germany, and PR03, which will be purchase org for Turkey. PR. Right?
Yeah.
Click on save. It will not ask you any further information. This is just two fields, purchase org and description, nothing else. You don't need to maintain any address and all. Okay, so now we have a plant, we have a purchasing org, we have a company code, but they are all created separately, right? How the system will know that purchasing org PR01 is for company code PR01, purchasing org PR02 is for company code PR02. So that things you have to set up in assignment. So you'll go to assignment now, and in logistics general, first of all, you have to assign the plant to the company code. Okay, so we created two plants for US, one plant for Germany, and two plants for uh, Turkey. So we have to assign them to each other. Okay, again, you can see there are already some entries here which are already predefined. But if you want to create a new one, I'll click on new entry. So company code PR01 has two plants, PR11. PR01 has another plant which is PR12. Correct?
Yeah.
Similarly, company code PR02 has only one plant which is PR21. And company code PR03, which is Turkish company code, has two plants. First one is PR31 and PR32. Right? So this is a place where the system will know why it is not showing PR32. Have we created only one plant? We only created one plant? No, Ankara we created. No?
But the same name we have here.
No, it will not allow. The code will not allow if you specify same. Ankara is not saved or what? I think we have not saved Ankara. Let's see. City Ankara. So this is how you can also search for a particular plant. Or if you want to see all our plants, as I told you, search term 1 and search term 2. So we written S4 here, right? So it will show you us all the plants that we created. It is showing one for New York, second for Chicago, and okay, in others, I think we have not written the S4. That is the reason it is not appearing here. Right? So what we can do is, again, we can provide any other criteria here. So we can go for city, which is Ankara, and see if there is something. Yes. PR32, sorry. Instead of PR32, we provided TR32. That's the reason it was not appearing.
Okay.
Okay, so that is fine. We cannot change. We have to delete this and we have to create a new one if you want to change this. We cannot once the plant is created, or once company code plant, any definition is created, you can change other fields. You can change the name, you can change the description, but you cannot change the code. Code is already generated, right? And if you want to change the code, you have to delete this first and you have to create a new. Okay, so I'll go with this one. There's no problem. We can use TR32 instead of PR. Okay?
Yeah.
Then click on save. So now they are all assigned to each other. Okay, so let's go back. And next thing is the purchasing of. Just now we assigned our company code to plant, but we also need to assign the purchasing of to the plant and company code, right? So we will go for materials management. You can see assign purchasing organization to company code. Okay, so here we will, here you don't have the option of new entries. because purchase organizations are already available here. You can see PR01, PR02, PR03. But only thing is they are not assigned to company code. So we just need to provide a company code. So PR01 is assigned to company code PR01. PR02 is assigned to PR02. And we will assign PR03 to PR03. Okay, so this is where we assign purchasing org to company code. Okay, click on save. Next one is we also need to assign the purchasing org to the plant. Okay, so you go for assignment, click on new entry, purchase of PR01 will be assigned to two plants, right? PR11 and PR12. Purchasing of PR02, sorry, this one was 1. Okay, PR02 will be assigned to PR21 and then PR03, which is for Turkish, will be assigned to PR31 and PR again 03 will be assigned to TR32, right? Because we created as TR. Okay, so this completes the enterprise structure from plant, company code, and purchasing org level. Any questions till now?
No, it's clear.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now coming to other organization elements. There is something called a storage location. Okay, so you must be knowing a plant can be acres of land, right? It can be a very big plant. Okay, so very big building. And if I tell you that this material is available in this plant, how will you find that? Because it can be like different rooms, different boxes. Okay, so you need to find a particular material out of it, which is very difficult. That is the reason. Again, the plant is divided into storage locations, bins. There are a lot of things which you can define at the further level, right? But at least from the perspective, storage location is must. If you want to go for bins and all, then you will be using warehouse management component, WM, right?
Yeah.
So within the plant, you can have multiple storage locations. So for example, we created 5 plants, and let's say in all the 5 plants, we have around 1 or 2 storage locations. It can be more, you can create whatever number of storage locations you want to create, but at least there will be 1 storage location per plant. Okay? How to create the storage locations? Again, I need to go back to enterprise structure for that. So let's come out. Again, I need to go to the definition. Okay, within definition, I will go to materials management and you can see there is a option of maintain storage location. So if you click on maintain storage location, it will ask you for which plant you want to create a storage location. So we want to create for PR11. You can see currently there is no storage location. If I want to add new, I will click on new entry and I have to provide the storage location number. So let's say this is PR or let's say storage location SL1 of 1. Okay, so for PR1 we are creating this. Again, whatever code is up to you, whatever you want to give. So maybe instead of going with this logic, let's go with this is for US, right? So let's say this is location number 1 for US. The first storage location for US, it is US01. Okay, so this is for plant 1 SL1. Within plant 1, storage location number 1. And you can create another one, US02. This is for plant 2, storage location 2. Correct?
Yeah.
Once this is done, you can save. You can also maintain the address of the storage locations if the address is different. But normally the address is same of plant, right? So you don't need to maintain all these things. Just click on save. Similarly, for other plants, you will again go for sorry, this time it will be for PR12. Okay, so I'll come to PR12 and new entry. Now the question to you, can I use the same code US01 and US02 here? What do you think, Abdul? Can I use the same storage location code which we already used?
Yeah, I think since it's different plant, it will not affect.
Because it is different plant, we can use the same code. Okay, so for storage location, we can use the same code if the plant is different.
Yeah.
So again, this is US01, but this is plant 1 for, this is plant 2 for storage location. Okay, and US02 for plant 2, location 2. I think last one we given the wrong name. But if I try to assign the same code again, US01 within the same plant, it will not accept, right? So if I press enter, you can see this one it is not allowing. Why? Because within the same plant, you cannot have the same storage location.
Yeah.
To delete this, skip and click on enter and save. So if it is still not allowing, skip. No, it is stuck. So no problem, you can just go for more, cancel, and you can come once again. Okay, so this is done, click on save. Perfect, any questions?
No.
Okay, so let's take a break for 5 minutes and then whatever we discussed, I will show you in the slides first before we go to the next part.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Abdul, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now we will talk about whatever things we discussed through the slides to make sure that we covered all those points. Okay. So we discussed about the organizational levels. I will go by line and you tell me if you have any confusion. So in SAP system, organizational levels are structures that represents a legal or organizational view of a company, which means you specify how your organization will look like, how many company codes, how many plants, how many purchasing departments, how many storage locations, right? Those things you enter here. The determination of the organizational level is an important work step in your project. In fact, it is an essential prerequisite for all subsequent activities. So before even you start working on the system, it is very important to understand how the enterprise structure of the customer looks like. Because the whole success of the project depends upon how you are mapping the customer's requirements into SAP. Okay, so it should not happen that customer is having some other requirement and you are creating the storage locations which are not fitting to their business requirements, right?
Yeah.
So first you have to analyze the structural and process organization in your enterprise and then reconcile them with SAP structures. First, before even you think about SAP, first you need to understand how the enterprise structure looks like actually physically in the place. Then only you will talk about SAP terminologies. And once you have decided on the organization structure, it is very difficult to change it. So once you created some plants, you created storage locations, and then you say, no, 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 there was something wrong after you posted some transactions. It is very difficult to change it, right? And
Yeah.
the organizational levels are defined in the customizing for enterprise structure, which we just now see. In the enterprise structure, customizing means SPRO. So in SPRO, there is an enterprise structure where we can define the organizational levels. Now, within the organizational level, the first one is a client. Okay, so client is a unit within SAP system that is self-contained both in legal and organizational terms, with separate master records and independent set of tables, which means a complete separate database, right? From a business viewpoint, a client represents a corporate group, for example. So you can say, okay, client is nothing but a particular corporate group. Client is the highest hierarchical level. As I told you, all company codes, plants, these are all coming under the client. So the topmost node is a client. Specifications or data that you make and enter at this level apply to all company codes and all other organizational units. So whatever you do in client, that is for all the company codes within the client and all other organizational units like plant, purchasing of storage location, everything. Therefore, you do not have to enter the specification data at client level more than once in the system. So whatever you enter at the client level, that is applicable for all. You don't need to enter again and again.
Yeah.
Access authorizations is assigned on the client specific basis. Access means authorizations. So which user is allowed to use what transactions, that is defined at the client level. Even a user master record must be created for every user in each client in which he wishes to work. Okay. If the client field has not been populated, so whenever you are trying to uh, connect to SAP system, in our case, it was automatically populated as 400, right? So if it is not automatically populated, each user must specify the client key. So that cannot be left blank. So for example, go to, if I just go to this screen and try to connect to SAP, without specifying the client, if I just remove this and go ahead with the other information, okay, it will not allow because client is not available. So, which means that client is mandatory field if it is not automatically populated. In our case, 400 was automatically populated. But let's say when you are trying to log in into SAP and this is blank, then you have to manually provide which client you want to connect.
Okay.
Yes. So The user has to specify the client in which he or she wishes to work. All user input is stored separated by the client. So whatever you enter in the client, that is stored in its own database. And the processing and evaluation of data is likewise carried out in a client specific basis. So in short, client is a highest hierarchy where whatever activities you are doing, those are part of client. A client is uniquely defined in the system by 3-digit numeric key. This is important. Client is not 4-digit, it is 3-digit, and it is not alphanumeric, it is numeric. Okay, the question comes in the exam. A client is uniquely defined in the system by 3-digit alphanumeric key, true or false. So it is not alphanumeric, it is numeric, and it is not 4-digit, it is 3-digit. You have to remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, after client comes the company code. Okay, once a client is available, you create a company code, because without creating company code, you cannot do anything in SAP. So the company code is the smallest organizational unit for external accounting, because why we are creating company code is a legal entity. So we want to carry out our company accounting there, right? You can set up several company codes in one client. So one client can have multiple company codes. We already seen how many company codes are there. If you see this system, there are, if I go to this definition of company codes, you can see there are 94 company codes already available, and you can create any number you want. You can create many company codes in one client. Okay?
Yeah.
So you can set up several company codes in one client in order to thus keep separate sets of financial books. Why you create multiple company codes? Because each legal entity is different, and you want to carry out a separate accounting for each legal entity. You can use spatial customizing function to copy a company code. We have seen how to copy a company code. Okay, so instead of creating from scratch, we can copy a company code. In the process, company code dependent specifications are adopted for your new company, which means there are a lot of things which are automatically copied. And you can, if you want, you can just make small changes and use it to create. A company code in the system is defined by means of 4-character alphanumeric key. So 4-character alphanumeric, okay, which is unique in the client. So in the same client, I cannot use the company code with the same code, right? It must be unique. Okay, let's go to the next one. Coming to the plant. The plant is an organizational unit within logistics that subdivides an enterprise from the viewpoint of the production, procurement, and material plant. So when we say plant, let me tell you one thing. Plant is not always the manufacturing plant. It can be storage plant. It can be even sales is a plant, because it is not necessary that plant is only used for the manufacturing activities. Even if you are not a manufacturing company, you can have multiple different locations from where you are issuing the material. That is also okay. So these are just examples. A plant may represent a variety of entities like production facility, distribution center, regional sales office is also your plant. Corporate headquarters is also your plant, and maintenance locations. So when creating a new plant, again, you can use the plant copy function. In the process, all the entries in the plant table and customizing and system tables are dependent on it are copied automatically. Here, again, whatever changes you want to make, you can make those changes. A plant is defined in the system by means of, again, 4-characters alphanumeric key that is unique in the plant. So plant is just like company code, 4 digits, alphanumeric, unique in client. Here, here.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to the storage location. The storage location is an organizational unit that facilitates the differentiation of stock of material within a plant. So within a plant, you can have multiple storage locations. Inventory management on quantity basis is carried out in the plant at storage location. The physical inventory is also carried out at this location. Can you tell me what is physical inventory?
Yeah, it's there be movement, stock movement inside. That's called physical.
Yes,
Inventory.
stock take, which means every monthly or every yearly, you make sure that the system is showing me that a particular material has 10 quantity. You check physically whether really that quantity is available or not. That is called as physical inventory. Okay, and storage location is defined by means of 4 characters alphanumeric that is unique in plant. See the plant, earlier it was client. So for storage location, it must be unique within a plant. Okay, but it is again 4 character alphanumeric.
Okay.
You got the point. So this is unique in plant, company code, and plant were unique in client.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the enterprise structure? So enterprise structure is combination of all these things, right? Company code, plant, purchasing ops, storage location, this all things when they are combined, they create a enterprise structure. So the enterprise structure is created through the assignment of organizational levels to each other. So you assign plant to company code, you assign purchasing ops to company code. A client may therefore contain several company codes. We discussed already. Client can have different company codes. In turn, a company code may contain several plants, right? Many plants can be part of one company code. A plant can only ever belong to one company code, however. This is very important. You cannot have a plant which is being shared by multiple company codes. Plant is always assigned to one company. Okay, one company code can have multiple plants, but one plant can only be assigned to one company. Okay, so this type of questions are asked in the exam and also in the interviews. Okay, so can I assign multiple plants to the company codes? The answer is yes. But can I assign multiple company codes to the plant? Not possible because plant can only belong to one company.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a hint? The hint is since the key of plant is unique in the client and the plant can only belong to one company code, by specifying the plant, you simultaneously specify the company code, which means whenever, let's say, you are creating a purchase order, okay, and if you just provide the plant number, it will automatically derive the company code because it is only assigned to one company, which means it is not necessary to provide plant as well as company code. If you specify the plant, it will automatically pick the company code. Several storage locations may be assigned to the plant. So one plant can have multiple storage locations, but a certain storage location can only belong to one plant, right?
Yeah.
You cannot assign the same storage location to multiple. Storage locations are defined for plants and thus assigned to this plant. A key for storage location need only be unique within a plant. Again, the same thing. So you can have the same key for the storage location for different plants, but within the plant, it must be unique. And within the client, the same key can be used for different storage locations. Since when you specify a storage location, you always have to specify the plant. So when it is not like if you specify the storage location, it will not automatically pick the plant because same storage location can be assigned to multiple plants. Can be assigned to multiple plants. Clear on this, Abdul? Any question?
No, it's very cool.
Okay. Coming to the purchasing group. Purchasing group is a key for a buyer. Now, we have not discussed purchasing group. Okay, so before I go through the slides, let me tell you what is purchasing group. Within a purchasing department, if you have multiple teams, one team is looking for materials procurement, another team is looking for service procurement, one team is looking for trading goods procurement. So within a purchasing department, if you have again divided different teams, those are called as purchasing groups. So when you say I want to purchase something from purchasing department PR01, within PR01, which team is responsible that you will have to provide via purchase department. Clear?
Yeah, it could be several purchasing groups with the same organization.
Abdul, are you speaking something to me?
Yeah, I said it could be several purchasing. We could assign several purchasing group to one
Your
organization.
voice is not clear today. Just give me a minute.
Yes.
Yes, Abdul, you were asking something?
Yeah, I said we could assign several purchasing group to the same organization.
No, actually speaking, purchasing groups you don't need to assign to anything. Purchasing groups can be used in any purchasing organization in any company code. They don't need to be assigned.
No need. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so a purchasing group is a key for a buyer or a group of buyers who are responsible for certain purchasing activities. Internally, a purchasing group is responsible for procurement of material or class of materials. Okay, so you can say services, you can say goods. Externally, it is a principal channel for the enterprise dealing with its vendors. So, for example, how purchasing group can work. Let's say you are sending the purchase order to the vendor. Now you have a purchasing department of 100 of users, 100 of team of 100 users who are creating the purchase order. So how the vendor will know who is my contact person? That is the reason you divide your purchasing org into different groups so that it is easier for the vendor also whom should I communicate. Okay, and the purchasing group is not aligned to other units in the company structure. So this answers your question. It is not assigned to any other unit in the enterprise structure. Any purchasing group can be used in any purchasing organization.
Yeah.
Okay. Then coming to the purchasing org. So purchasing org is an organizational unit within logistics that divides the enterprise according to the purchasing requirements. A purchasing organization procures material because it is a purchasing department who is responsible for procurement of materials and services. It is for negotiations, conditions with vendors, and assumes responsibility of all these transactions. Okay, so purchasing department is responsible for all the activities which are required from the purchasing perspective, right?
Yeah.
You can incorporate purchasing into company structure by assigning the purchasing organization to the company codes and to the plans. Okay, so you can assign the purchasing organization to different company codes and these plans. This means that you cannot take into account whether a purchasing is organized on a centrally or decentrally basis in your company. So what is centrally? Centrally means non-single. Abdul, is it possible for you to mute? And whenever you have question, you can unmute yourself. There is some background noise.
Sorry. Okay.
Just mute yourself. There is a button, green button.
Okay. On my screen.
Yeah, yeah, in your screen.
Okay. Which button?
Okay, no problem. I'll mute you from here.
Oh, okay. I'm mute. Okay.
Yes, now you muted yourself. Okay. So, yes, I was talking about this. You can assign the purchasing org to different company codes and different plans. Okay, so you can see you can assign several purchasing organization to one company code. However, a certain purchasing organization can only belong to one company code. Okay, so you can decide not to assign the purchasing organization to the company code. If you want to use same purchasing organization for multiple company codes, in that case, you don't need to assign any purchasing org to any company code. You just keep it blank, which means it is applicable for all the company codes. Okay, and
However, sorry, there is an M to N relationship between purchasing organization to plants. So any number of plants can be assigned to one purchasing organization, and any number of purchasing organization can be assigned to one plant. Okay, so in other words, you can assign several plants to one purchasing organization and one plant to several purchasing organization. It is M to N, multi to multi, many to many relationship. Okay, so this is also one of the questions which can be asked in the interviews and the exams. Can I assign multiple plants to purchasing org, and what is the relationship between plant and purchase org? So it is many to many. The different assignment options between company code, plant, and purchase organization yield the following categories of purchase organization. Which are those categories? So in plant specific procurement, which means one plant is having a separate purchasing department. A purchasing organization is responsible for procuring material for just one plant. So if I having the purchasing department for a plant, it will be only responsible for purchasing for that plant. In this case, you make the following assignments in the customizing. So you already know in assignment, materials management, you have to assign the organization to the company code or the plant. So there is option to assign the company code to the plant and to assign the purchasing organization to the plant. Cross plant purchasing org, which means the purchasing org which can purchase for multiple plants. So if the purchasing organization is to procure materials and services for several plants belonging to the company code. So this is company code wise purchasing. Okay, so you can set up the cross plant purchasing organization within a company code. To do this, again, there is a transaction which is assign the purchasing org to the company code. Okay, so after this, you assign the plants for which the purchasing organization is responsible. So you can assign the same purchasing organization to multiple plants. If the purchasing organization is responsible for all plants of the company code, it is not enough to make this assignment between company code and purchasing org. So for example, if you have two plants, let's take a same example of what we have done. In US, we have two plants. So if we create a purchasing organization, one purchasing organization for US and assign it to the company code US, that is not enough. We have to assign that purchasing org to two different plants also. So by default, system will not assume that if it is assigned to the company code, it is valid for all plants. You have to tell the system that this purchasing department is valid for which plant. Yes. Okay, so assignment to the company code is not necessary. Why? Because if you want to use same purchasing org for multiple company codes, so it is not necessary. Finally, cross company code purchasing org, which is at the central level. So one purchasing department taking care of all company codes, all plants. So if you want to set up cross company code purchasing, you must not assign. Okay, you don't need to assign your company code to the purchasing org in that case. Then why, when you create a purchase order, the system will ask you to enter the company code for which you want to procure the material. Right, so if you are saying my purchasing department this, you definitely need to tell the system that for which company code you want to make the purchase. Abdul, is it making sense? Any question till now? You can unmute and yes. No questions?
No question. But out of topic, we finishing right now. Just want to ask for the exam certification. Does it need to experience to pass the exam?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Yeah, the exam, certification exam. I said that does it need experience to pass the exam, or it could be without? I mean, practical.
Abdul, your voice is not clear. Can you keep your mic in front? There's a lot of background noise.
Okay, do you hear me right now?
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, I said in case that we finish right now, I just want to ask about the exam, certification exam.
Okay.
in order to pass the exam, does it need the practical experience, or I could be passed without this?
Yes. So you are asking for exam, do I need to worry about practicals or I should only concentrate on theoretical, right?
Yeah,
See, you can definitely pass the exam with theoretical knowledge. But the point is, if you see together practical things, then it will be easier for you to remember. Instead of just reading the book and going for the exam, if you see how these things are working in the system, it will be easier for you to remember. And at the same time, after
yeah.
the exam, when you get a project, you will be able to work on the project.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Yes. Okay, so I think we should stop now. If you want, I can continue, but the next topic is into doing the transactions like purchase order and all. But before we go ahead in this, there are a lot of things which we need to do in the system. So what I think is maybe you start practicing on this. I will immediately share the server access with you. Whatever things we have done today, you create those things in the system, create some company codes, create some plants, storage locations, purchasing all. I'll give you the scenario. Okay, so
Yeah,
according to that scenario, you show me these things tomorrow, and again, maybe tomorrow, just join 10 minutes earlier. I will ask you some questions to get a confidence that whether you are understanding or not, and then we will
yeah.
continue with the other topics.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, then. Thank you. So, no, just a minute. Don't leave. I will give the scenario first so that
Yeah,
you can work on that scenario. So, the uh, scenario is a customer is into chemical industry, having one legal entity in Turkey. Okay, and
yeah,
they have three plants, one in Istanbul, second in Ankara, and third one you can decide. Okay. Third is they have two storage locations per plant, and fourth is they have one single purchasing org, purchasing department, which takes care of all procurement. Okay, and last one, they have two groups, two purchasing groups, one for material purchase and second for service purchase. Clear?
yeah.
So this one, just copy it on your PC. I'm sending you via chat.
Okay.
You received?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, just copy it. And whatever assignments I will give you, you keep one file with you because we will keep on adding the scenarios in this list.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay then. So we can close now and we'll meet tomorrow again with the topics. And please also go through the slides. Whatever we
Yeah.
discussed till now, we discussed till slide number 34. No, sorry, slide number 31. Okay, so there will be the small test on uh, these topics that we discussed till now.
Okay.
Okay, then. Thank you, Abdul. Bye.
Thank you.